Well, hello there and everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us for day 2 of a brand new AMX Global League Season 4. We're coming at you with AMX 1 Light tonight for our AMX 1 coverage. It's Renault Clio Cups. I'm going to say Renault all night long because I can't stop myself. Renault Clio Cups, and we are here, as you might be able to tell, in the background at the Redbull Ring. If they ever sell that again, they're going to have to take that whole thing down, and it's not going to be as iconic anymore. But I'm glad we're here, and I'm glad you're here wherever you are from, whether you're watching or you're racing or you're everywhere in between. Whenever you're watching this, we're glad to have you. The Red Bull Ring, of course, there. I always feel vaguely upset that they call it a ring, even though that's just the Germanic way to do it. It's not a circle. Either way, this is a look at what we're doing here tonight. If you're new to AMX, it's a little bit different than last season, although for most of it, it's exactly the same. So $20,000 on the line from January 27th to April 21st. And of course, the race format is essentially the same, but we're doing it in 20-minute groups this time. 20-minute qualifiers, 20-minute Heat 1 and Heat 2. So it's a little bit longer, a little bit more time for racing, and that means that those top 15 reverse grids in between are going to be even more impactful. This season, the driver cams are required. They were a little bit optional last season, but we're going to need you to head on over to your local Big Mart and purchase a $5 webcam if you'd like to race at AMX. When you race at AMX, we do pay you out every time you win over $100, which is not actually that difficult to do. I was just checking things yesterday, and several of our drivers are already well on their way. If you'd like to race with us on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, AMXrace.com is the place to do it, and you can head over there and see any of the races this whole season. They're all up there, so go check it out. Like I said, Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays are when we're racing. Same bat time every single day. AMX 1s start at 5:50 p.m. GMT. So for you guys in Greenwich, you got no problem. But for everybody else in the world, wherever you are compared to GMT, that's when we're doing it. AMX 10 starts at 7:20 p.m., and that is coming up immediately after the AMX 1 broadcast. So not immediately, there's a small break, but you get the idea. And here's one of the reasons we're racing tonight. This is a look at the AMX 1 prize pool for Season 4. Pretty similar to last season. We've got $7 for first place all the way down to 15th place for qualifier, Heat 1 and Heat 2. And that means that no matter what you do in each section, you get a chance to do it over again in the next one after a top 15 reverse grid. There's $100 on the line every race, which is not bad compared to a lot of the other races that are out there. We're going racing 68 times this season, and so there's plenty of opportunities for you to race and win in AMX Global League Season 4. Here's a look at, for the first time this season, our historic stats. Everybody's on the same page here. It's the top 12 for AMX 1 Season 4. Connor Healy way up at the top, and a really impressive day from the Australian yesterday. Put up some big numbers and is currently in the lead. Pedro Mora, Gunarago, Gerardo Ramos right below him, all the way down to Belziti, De Leon, and Turner sitting in 7th. We'll be filling up those stats as the season progresses, but you want to get your name up there on the list, there's plenty of time. Now here's a look at the current promotions for Season 4, and both of these are in effect currently. If you buy a race ticket 3 days or more before the race itself, then you get a 30% off discount. Season discount tickets are also available by heading over to amxrace.com, so you can buy all the races for a particular class for the entire season and then go racing whenever you want, and there's a 50% discount on those, so it's definitely worth it to go check it out. amxrace.com. You can go purchase a season pass, and you're good to go for the whole season. Half price is pretty good. So let's look at our promotions. We'll be doing it this season, so make sure to head over to amxrace.com and check it out. And I believe that does it for our introduction. This is the introduction for our track tonight. This is in Red Bull country. There's a Red Bull ring in Austria, of course. technically in Styria, although I think probably the track itself is maybe a little bit more popular there. Opened in 1969, and it's just over 4 3/10 kilometers long. I tried to express that in the most confusing possible way because they could just say the number of miles instead. Either way, that's where we're racing. Here's what we're racing. The cars we're taking out onto the Red Bull ring tonight are the Renault Clio Cups, 200 horsepower, forward wheel drive. Front wheel drive. Just over half a ton. I don't know that. It's 1,000 kilograms. Wouldn't that make it a kilogram? And if it's a kilogram, shouldn't they use the metric word for whatever a kilogram is? Is that a megagram? Who even knows anymore? It's a sequential gearbox too, by the way. That's unanimous no matter what country you're in. But Clio Cups are really fun. They are definitely not F1 cars, but when you take them out, they're a lot of fun, especially if you are just getting in to iRacing and you're looking for some of the more accessible series to drive in. Pick up a Clio Cup. We are on board now inside the cockpit, actually next to Aaron Vasquez, definitely one of the kind of rising stars of AMX Global League Season 3. And he's coming back here in AMX Global League Season 4 and has already put up some big numbers. Now, you can only race in AMX 1 or AMX 10, so when you see a driver you like, you better get your money's worth because that's the only time you'll see them out here today. There, in fact, is Aaron Vasquez, of course, racing for Drago Racing. Used to be on Altus Esports, if I'm not mistaken. He moved over just recently at the end of last season to Drago Racing, and he's already put up some big wins for them in other series, but also looking good in AMX Global League Season 4. He is not the only Spaniard out on the track tonight. We got X-Play, my favorite G4 channel show to watch for the better part of the 90s. Also, Rico Suarez also joining us today. So we're really penetrating the Iberian Peninsula tonight, as Sanao will also be joining us too. So very excited to see our drivers here. A lot of new faces this season in AMX Global League Season 4, and that's headed into the wall. That's how you know it's time to requalify. And this is just qualifiers. We did 20-minute qualifiers, like I said a little bit earlier. But if you didn't hear me and you're getting in there and you're like, wow, can I have a little bit more time to qualify? Well, that's why. It's 20 minutes long. And we have 12 racers today. Tim State, glad to see my fellow countryman, the American Tim, coming back. One of our older racers today. I feel the need to highlight this because we have some kids that are, I think we've had some like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds racing with us, and it's just so exciting to see every end of the spectrum get out there, hop in a sim rig, and compete out on the track with us tonight. So now, jumping up the standings there with a 58.1, and if you're talking about the association between sim racing and real life racing, the lap records are actually relatively similar. So right now we're hopping out onto the track and we're setting 58 across the board. Well, not completely across the board, but we're getting pretty close to that. The national circuit, obviously a little bit faster than racing the entire Red Bull ring, and it makes a little bit more sense on Clio Cups. That's essentially what you would expect to see. In real life, if you're racing the entire circuit, it takes about double. You're looking at about a 150. So that's for the full circuit. For a second there, I was like, wait a second. Why are they so much fat? And then I was, okay, it's the national. Either way, Aaron Vasquez dominating up at the top, and that's, not to spoil the future, maybe what you should expect from a guy who has literally double the I rating of almost everyone else in the lobby along with him. So this guy is really putting the pedal to the metal, and very excited to see what he does out here in Clio Cups. And I just love it when you see players who really love racing a particular car, particular track, come out and show us how it's done. Rincon Racing with one of the sickest logos we've got today. Sponsors everywhere, and you'll love to see it. Rincon Racing, of course, being represented by Alberto Sanao, who will be sitting in third for now. But I mean, you can't really judge the qualifying times for a while. This is more an indication of how well the drivers know the track and less an indication about how fast they can go on it. Obviously, you got to get out there. You got to get a good angle, a good run, not run into traffic like potentially we're seeing right there, and see what they can do. Now, we have a small issue with today's race, and that is that. So I grew up with a little bit of Spanish, so I can handle half of these names, but yeah. I'm just gonna go with Nico, because if I try to say his last name, what is that? Versbicki? I'm really doing my best here. Either way, nice to see one of our first, if not, actually, I believe that is our first Polish driver in AMX Global League Season 4. So very excited. He is, of course, teammates with Aaron Vasquez, both on Drago Racing. He's also got an insane setup, I must say. This guy, dedicated. Very cool to see. Not only a teammate of Aaron Vasquez, but also very good sim racer in his own right. He's sitting up there at a comfortable 8.2K iRating, which is not bad. You guys were wondering, like, I wonder, what's a good iRating to shoot for? It's like, well, yeah, any of these guys, they are way up there. So very, very excited to see him here joining us, and it's always exciting to see more competition, right? And it's kind of why we're all here. It's fun to drive, it's fun to listen to the cars go vroom, but the big point is we're trying to watch people everywhere, their hopes and dreams shattered upon the craggy rocks of despair, except for like one guy who gets to drink the champagne at the end, or three if you're all up on the podium. The whole point is it's competition, and it's getting more and more competitive every single lap. These guys take around the track in qualifying. You can see down there in your right-hand corner, a purple sector means that you are the fastest on that sector in the session. Green means that personally you're improving on your previous times, and yellow doesn't mean bad, it just means that you didn't improve from your previous lap. I guess that is kind of bad, but it just means that you need to make it up in the next few corners. So on board with Pedro Mora, we are sitting here at 58.3, the time for him to beat, as Sanao breaking 58, now down to 57.9. That is not bad. And usually I look to the final quarter of qualifying to see some of the big hot laps be put in, because this is group qualifiers for these Clio Cups. But I gotta say, it's very, very, very impressive to see these racers throw those times up a little bit ahead of schedule. We're on board right now with Stigare. This guy is, as long as it's not Stigaire, I assume that because it's Portuguese, it would be Stigare, but also I'm not pronouncing it with the accent because nobody wants to hear that. He's down in 10th so far. Going racing with us tonight, starting in P10, but with a respectable time. I mean, all these times, 59s, 58s, basically what you should expect for most of the laps. And this is just qualifying, right? Obviously, those times are going to come down when it goes into the race itself. Should get started here in about 5 minutes. Stigare coming around, looking to put up another time. It hits a 101. Obviously, you saw the yellow sectors a little bit earlier. It wasn't going to be his hot lap for sure. And honestly, look, if I was out there racing, I wouldn't be up here at all. I'd just be having a good time, sending it around the ring. And we do pay out to the top 15. So that means that every one of the racers here tonight is walking away with something. And it's always a good feeling, right? If you come out, if you invest your time, your effort into sim racing in a tournament against some other racers, you really do want you hate to see all of that go to waste. So not only is there a lot on the line, just as far as competition and money is concerned, but also you get 3 different opportunities to do that, right? Qualifier, Heat 1, and Heat 2. On board right now with Diego Villarreal, of course, the Uruguayan racer, sitting down there in 9th, representing SART, that is Sudamerica Racing Team. Very prominent, I will say. South American racing team, and Diego's making him look good there in 9th so far, but obviously, got plenty of time to make that up. It's just about 4 minutes left. It's time. I said plenty of time, but not actually that much time. It's in ninth so far, 58.4. I mean, obviously respectable. It's the lowest of the 58s, but you're in good company if you're in that 58 metric, because it's just less than a second separating everyone inside. In fact, actually less than 0.4 of a second separating those 58 times up there on the board. So a lot of yellow sectors here, which means maybe this lap, not the lap for most of our racers. But let's see what can happen, because I was talking up my boy number 1, Aaron Vasquez. He's sitting in P3 right now. What's going on there? Philippa, one of the races actually we saw for the first time yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And actually really nice to see somebody go up like that and make it for or have such an impact in their first season. We've got plenty of more time in the season left to go as Philippa advances to P2. That's $5 if you can hold it for another 3 more minutes. I'm kind of shaking a little bit. It's getting down to the wire, and you love to see it, right? Nobody likes to see 100-acre gaps between racers. It's always better when it's close, when the skill levels are comparable, and that's really kind of what we got going on here tonight. Very, very, very close racing here, and with now up the fastest lap up there in provisional poll with a 57.9. These times continue to get lower and lower and lower. Aaron Vasquez, there we go, my man. Okay, getting up there. I mean, obviously, I got no skin in the game. You want to show me a good time, I'm going to be cheering for you. And I think that's where a lot of people may be right now. If you guys are watching and you're like, okay, who are these guys? What are we doing? Sorry, brief interruption there. We are going to conclude qualifying here in 1 minute only. And hopping on board, I'm just trying to pull up the live timing link, which you guys can do also. I think we have it pinned to the top of our YouTube channel, or should do. Heavy Pla! Heavy play. There's so many things I can do with that name. I just love names that start with X. The two most here have got to be basically anything in Polish and any name starting with X. And come down to the wire, he's absolutely killing it, 58.2. And if I see his sector pop up down below, then I'll be sure to shout it out, because I'm not totally sure if he is improving on this lap. But I mean, it's not enough time yet, because it takes about a minute to get around the track. So now all of our racers will have this lap and this lap only. Let's go ahead and see what Philippa has to show us here. Pedal to the metal across the line, and his time is a 58. Okay, great. That's up there. I'm not sure why that wasn't synced up, or maybe I just missed it, but there it is in P3. Trying to figure out what his competition looks like. Final qualifying laps coming in. I think we do have a couple of racers still out there, but with the final 15 seconds, seeing them zoom across the line. So now comes across, it does not improve. Looks like we have Philippa still out there. I don't think he's going to be able to complete his lap in 6 seconds. And that means that for all intents and purposes, this is what our qualifiers look like. Your BenQ session winner is Aaron Vasquez, home with the P1 time of 57.95. Only racer tonight to crack 57, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe sent out, did I exactly catch that? But, okay, no, he wouldn't have done. Doesn't get much closer than that. Alberto Sanao there in P2. Dino Philippa comes home in P3. And Heavy Pla. I love it. I'm going to murder that name all night long. So if you're out there and you're listening, you want to send me a DM with the correct pronunciation, let me know. Also, if Nico could help me out there a little bit also, that would be helpful too. So, some great racers and some great times being put up on the board, but it's not going to last for long. We're going to flip things upside down with a full 50 grid for our first heat of the night. We are on the grid right now as our race cars pop up on there tonight. On board now with Mora, and we're trying to get him out on the track and see what he has to show us.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is called, the flag is waving, and we are already off to the races. Let's go ahead and get things started with Nico Godoy in P1. Stigare right behind him, holding strong for now. State dropping down a little bit further. And let's see how things go through the first couple of corners. These can be absolute carnage coming around, and it looks like all of our racers staying pointed forward. Always nice to see. No crashes just yet, but there's a real tough one coming up right now. Nico Godoy holding strong with a half-second lead for now. So now even climbing up a little bit from behind. Aaron Vasquez on a big point, +5 coming through. Always happy to see Nico Godoy down there, but really, I guess, always excited to see him in real life because he usually has some colorful characteristics there. But this season, he's been the man of darkness and has not been letting us see some of his, I think he has some glow-in-the-dark hats, some light-up hats. He's the hat man. I'm the hat man. Nobody wants to do that. He's in P1 after a reverse grid, but the struggle is always, can you hold on? We've got 20 laps around the national circuit here tonight, and it's a tough ask sometimes, especially since, keep in mind, because of the reverse grid, we've got some incredibly fast racers coming up behind him. We're talking about Nico. It's got to be Versbicki, right? There's no it can't be that far off. Okay, Nico, there we go. Thank God I can at least say the first 4 letters. He's in P4 right now. That's a +4 for him, and he's coming up behind Pedro Mora, Diego Villarreal, and Nico Godoy, who are doing a great job right now, but it's not good enough. You have to be able to hold off some of the best racers we've got all night long. Like we were talking about earlier, we've got 8K, 9K, 11,000 iRating in the case of Aaron Vasquez, so all of that is just piling in behind, and granted, it's not qualifiers anymore. We are actually doing intense battle out there on the track right now, and anything's possible. So it's not just about driving well yourself, you also got to be as aggressive as possible. And with the fastest lap now set by Lozano, oh Lord, he coming. Villarreal up in P1 right now, passing up Nico Godoy, who holds once again. And really, in fact, if you want to give one characteristic other than silly hats, Nico Godoy, it is that he is actually pretty darn good at holding his position when he has it. Now, I mean, he does have to do that for the entire race, which is maybe a tough ask, but look at how he's doing. Excellent job defending against, okay, all right. Did I do that? Is that my fault? Nico Godoy having a nice spin, but dare I say, a nice save. He is falling back to the back of the order, unfortunately, and that will put him in last place. So, unfortunately, timed right as I was talking him up a little bit. So, of course, the number one rule to avoid believing basically anything I say. Nico climbing up the P2 right behind Diego Villarreal, and this is where kind of the pedal hits the metal, right? As the reverse grid sort of filters through, we've got a lot of our very, very fast racers really making the climb happen. In fact, if you look at the top 5 already, we got +8s, 3s, 6s, 5s, all of it representing some incredible drives so far. Filipe Vasquez, Sinal Versbicki, and Diego Villarreal up there in P1 currently. So Diego has really sort of usurped the throne that Nico Godoy had earlier. As a driver who qualified quite low in the qualifiers after the reverse grid, he gets up there and, it looks like we're going to take a look at Nico Godoy down here in the bottom right-hand corner. See what happens. Oh, I think he just lost it a little bit. I thought he might have caught it on the curb, but it looks like he actually just turned in. I don't know if that's gremlins in his wheel, but this is by far the most impressive part. He actually keeps it pointed forward, makes a recovery drive, gets back on the track. He's just a little bit slower after that, and I would be too. There's a little bit of shock. Usually you expect it. Oh no, I just bit into him. Still going forward. Can I keep racing? Okay, and he is still racing there, making it ahead of Tim State back there in the back. But let's hop on board with Aaron Vasquez. Look at what he's doing right now, right behind Sanao as that P3 in his spot, trying to get up on the podium. And honestly, if you're Aaron Vasquez, you're probably used to it. You walk up onto the stage, and you're physically incapable of taking only one step. You're used to climbing up to the top one. And now in P4, he's got plenty of time make this drive happen. 15 more laps around the national circuit of the Red Bull Ring, and so far Diego is he's doing okay, but this is the time where you really want to start building that lead, and unfortunately for him, Diego's struggling a little bit. Nico makes the overtake happen right there and climbs up into P1. Diego coming in behind him right now. All right, coming through lap 6 in the middle of it. Sorry, trying to multitask here, doing my very best. There's 12 racers to keep track of, and this is a little bit like being their collective mom, trying to find out where my kids are on a Friday night. I think it's a Sunday night here, but you get the idea. On board now with Sanao, who is trying to make this happen. Coming around the inside here. I actually thought he was about to make that. Yeah, there it is. Trying to find that angle. You can see he got a better angle around the curve, and that meant that he is actually closing now on that 2/10 deficit. Coming, I thought I was doing it on the inside here, but I think just finding better and better lines is probably how I was going to catch Diego here, who has in turn been caught by Vasquez and Nico. P1. So now kind of struggling. I was talking about how maybe he was going for the overtake right there, but he is closing the distance. It was 2/10, now 1, now even less. So on lap 7, he is about to climb up onto the third step of the podium. Speaking of climbing, we've got Play battling it out with Stigare in the background. Those guys are absolutely going neck and neck. So much dueling and the action in the front, in the midfield, and in the back as well. So really a lot going on right now. So very excited to see all of that happen. So it looks like by popular demand, you're welcome Connor Nixon back for another trip around the Red Bull Ring. So Connor, hello, are you there?
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
Oh, just doing some racing. This is, in case you can't tell from the lap times, the national circuit of the Red Bull Ring. About half of it. We're skipping the good stuff, but we're doing it in Clio Cup cars here tonight. For the most part, it's been actually a really action-packed race so far. We're finishing up the reverse grid, but man, look at what we have going on here. Well, a battle between the two highest-rated iRacing drivers on track tonight, and thankfully to our production team, we have the opponent cam showing us both Nico. I'm going to help you out on there, Connor, and Aaron Vasquez doing epic battle in P1 and 2. You want to give those names a try, Connor?
Nick.
No. Just, the answer is no. There. That just Nico. There we go. That's what we're going with tonight.
Nico, there we go. But Aaron back, he what a race from last night. So yeah, he's doing his thing as usual, I guess, and yeah, he's doing his stuff. And but with the Clios Cups, I've never seen this combo before, but I guess it's working out very well from this race. And
I also have not seen exactly this combo. Also one of the best parts. to AMX Global League just in general, but also in Season 4. You get a lot of different combinations, and there's a lot of variety, right? So particularly for Clio Cups, right, you want a little bit of a smaller track. These guys are not going into 24 hours of Renault Clio Cup. That's not either way, it is proving pretty exciting. And as anytime you get out of the F1s, the super fast cars, it kind of bunches up the pack and makes for some really competitive racing. And beyond that, just to have racers in the same team, they know each other so well, they know each other's driving styles, and maybe that's something you can speak to a little bit, Connor. When you go racing and there's members of your team out in the same race, does that make you feel more competitive?
Oh, definitely. You definitely want to beat your team at all costs, because at the end of the day, like, you want to beat your teammates before you beat other people. And yeah, I guess when it comes down to that, yeah, you definitely want to do that. But at the same time, you definitely know their driving style down to a T. So, you know, you'll know when they brake, how they, you know, operate a car as well. And
yeah, so I guess maybe you can talk to that a little bit, because you know, this sounds like something I would say. I would say they know each other's driving styles. Well, yeah, but like, you know, what does that mean? What are the things that you would look for if you really know a driver super well? What are some things that you would be able to exploit based on that knowledge?
Yeah. It's sorry, I just had my phone go off out of nowhere. If that was going off. But yeah, I guess it's I guess like with a team, you definitely want to yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like with your team, it's like you're, I guess it's like you with your team, it's like you know their driving style down to a T. Oh, Dino going off there. Yeah, I mean, have you ever been in a team, Rick?
You know, I haven't necessarily been in a team in iRacing specifically, or sim racing. My teamwork is better left elsewhere. But it's always a lot of fun to watch them compete against each other, right? Which is kind of what we're doing right here. Previously, in previous seasons, we've had a lot of you know, teammate on teammate action from the guys from, you know, SimRC or the former Texaco Racing guys. Always run a lot of drivers, and you know, they get up to their shenanigans. And now we're doing it all over again. Now that we have a lot of members of you know, Jago Racing and a lot of other teams joining this season. And this is just AMX 1. We've got AMX 10 coming up a little bit later on tonight. So there's going to be even more competition there. And yeah, you just love to see it, right? More competition, always better.
Yeah, having more teams in the background is always better. We had Jaime join as well last night, and yeah, it's definitely when you have more teams, the racing's so much better, isn't it, Reed? Like, you just I think the competition just goes to another level when you've got Texaco, Altus, Jaime, Jago. Like, it's just it's massive, and that's what you want. You know, really good racing, good teams coming along, and yeah, it makes the community better, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So up the inside though. Oh,
contact. Oh, the pit maneuver coming in behind.
He's around.
Oh my God, Diego! I don't know if that's him braking or just getting a little bit shoveled off the track there. That is not what you want to see. What's your analysis of that, Connor?
I was going to say replay. It's down in the bottom right. We'll have a look. So side by side there, it looks like, oh, that's a bit of a weird one, because he's kind of went from the right, like he's on the right, and then he all of a sudden he's went more right. Then yeah, there's a car there, and yeah, he's been pushed out a little bit. So I don't know about that one. I think it wouldn't be a penalty. I think that's more of a racing incident. But yeah, that's. I don't think old mate's going to be happy with that one.
No. That one feels bad for sure. You got to know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, nobody has spider sense, right? We can't see 360 degrees around the car, so sometimes you just don't know they're there. And honestly, that's one of the things that you just learn from racing a whole lot is, you know, kind of how to keep in your mind where everyone is spatially around you. But obviously, you got 100 million things to pay attention to. So sometimes you got some blind spots. So unfortunately, that's going to send Diego down 5 places to 9th. Plenty of time to make that up, but it's going to take some work. And even if he does wind up staying down there, he's still in the points and has a reverse grid coming up. So let's check out this incident involving Diego Villarreal. And I'm guessing, I want to see if he slows down or if it's just a little bit of contact or netcode. And it looks like, I don't know, man. What are you supposed to do there?
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's like, do you slow down because you've made the contact, or do you keep going and see if race control, for instance, will give you a penalty? Like, it's a bit of a hard one there. So I guess you keep driving from that point of view. I don't think it's worth slowing down and losing all those positions. But yeah, like, if it is his fault, yeah, I'm sure there'd be a cheeky Discord message going, "You're in trouble." But no, I think it's I'd say you just keep driving, and yeah, move on, and I think it's from that point of view.
Well, that's the great thing about driving, Connor. You kind of just gotta keep doing it. Here we are in P2, looking behind Aaron Vasquez, Verbicki, and Erzbicki. There we go. And so now this top 3 battle is by far the most important or exciting thing happening on the track right now, aside from that P9 and 10, which might be happening a little bit further back there. But to see how tight these drivers are racing, that's what he needs to learn how to say. We knew it was going to be tight between the 2 Drago races, but it doesn't get much closer than this. And obviously, we've got Sanao sort of sharking around there in the back, biding his time, looking for an opportunity to send it. And it tells me he might have one coming up here in just 2 more corners. I don't know if you're Nico. Obviously, you've been in this position before where you're racing against your teammates, so that might feel a little bit more comfortable. But maybe this track, maybe this car, maybe the combination, and obviously mixing Sanao into the equation is going to maybe throw a few wrenches into what might otherwise be a familiar situation.
Yeah, definitely. I just noticed with Nico's background, by the way, Reed, with the helmets. I love that green helmet. That's like one of the coolest helmets I've seen, actually. Yeah, he must be a real-life driver from the looks of it. Very cool. But yeah, I think you know that your teammate's in front of you. I think it's more of a chill-out situation. But yeah, the guy from behind, I would be saying that he's just wanting to cover and stay in P2 at the moment and come home a 1-2 with these teams. So I'd say it's just cover off P3 at this point.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Nico, because this guy is been out there for a very long time, and then really coming into his own now at Drago. Previous Proto Star, and really just kind of a who's who of Polish racing teams. He has gotten out there on track in real life before, and gotta say, when it comes to Clio Cup specifically, he knows what he's doing out there. So very exciting to see people translate their real life skill into the sim racing world. So we've got like I said, just continuing leveling up the competition every single season here in AMX, and for season 4 it's already starting out pretty darn high. Connor,
he's covering up the inside, staying in the inside. He's going to move out a little bit so he doesn't get that overlap. There's going to be no undercut there, not the undercut, under and over. He's going to cover off that. Aaron's going to probably pull away a little bit here. Pulled out a good 6/10 here now. So if he loses slipstream from his teammate there from Aaron, that Nico could be in trouble here. It looks like he's hard work on the steering wheel with the old tongue coming out of the mouth. I do that all the time, so I'm not going to bully him or say anything, because I do that all the time. But yeah, doing good there.
Yeah, everybody has that, right? Their racing tick, whether it's like a poker tell or something that just makes you feel like in the zone, right? If you have a mirror in front of you, then you're okay. But as soon as you're focused, things kind of go off the rails. But I mean, as far as the rails are concerned, right on top of it is Sanao, right? He's closed what used to be a half a second gap all the way down to a couple, just 2/10 between him and Nico in P2. So, Vasquez might be pulling away a little bit, but man, Sanao has got that pedal to the metal. And with the white flag out, there's not too much time left to do it, Connor. We are really coming down to the wire here. So if Sanao's got some extra gas in the tank, now is the time to use it. Vasquez solidly in P1, but Versbicki coming up behind him. The checkered flag will wave here momentarily, and it's Vasquez, Versbicki, and Sanao coming through on the podium. P1, 2, 3.
Yeah, great result there for the two teammates. And did you see the little dance there? That was really funny. Maybe I should do that next time in an AMX race. But yeah, well done to the team. Solid run for them, and yeah, good racing overall. Maybe I need to jump in these Clios a bit more. Looks like good fun out there.
No, I'm just saying, it just looks like so much fun, right? Obviously close racing, but just a fun car to drive in general. And that is one of the big reasons that we did make different classes this season. So for today's race, obviously we've got Clio Cups coming through, and this is part of the AMX Light S race. If you want to know more about classes, you can head over to amxrace.com. Info is there. If you just click the info button up at the top of the screen, that'll take you to it. And also, you can buy season passes for every single one of the AMX1 Light races this season, as many of our racers have done. Congratulations to our session winner, Aaron Vasquez, who comes through with that, and also our fastest lap of the race going to Alberto Sanao, who, man, had such a drive, kept it so close all race long, and finished on the podium because of it. They're the number 6 car in P3. But it's a reverse grid, and that means that after some minor tragedies at the beginning and middle of the race, our racers will flip it back around, head back to the front of the grid, and now it's time for the final heat of AMX 0, race 2. And we're already underway. Oh my God, we are really trying to get back out there. And so this is going to be Tim State heading back into P1 with Nico Godoy right behind him and Diego Villarreal battling intensely through the very first corner. We are getting a pretty good start here, and Tim State, man, he can see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. He's got that VR headset on, and he's zooming into the future. A plus or a 0.6 gap, and already some very physical driving behind. The midfield is carnage right now, but for the most part, everybody still pointing forward. Is that pump drafting? He's trying to prize his way through like a pearl trying to get out of a clam. He is really making his way up. It's Stigare who is trying to make up a couple of spots that he lost off of his start. Suarez taking over. And no, it's Lozano. Mauricio falling out back down to the back of the field.
Yeah, good start there from Tim. He got a really good launch there, and he's actually under fire now from P1. And look at this car. I've actually got no timing up, but car 59 is getting attacked here. It's going to turn in, get some clean air, but good start from Tim, and see what he can do from here.
Yeah, there's plenty of race to do it in, right? For Stigare right now, who we are on board with. This is, wow, he's wiggling. It's a little wiggly out there. That is a test of how firmly you can hold on to your wheel in the game and in real life. Philip keeping it pointed forward, but a gap between him and Sanao, and we already know that Sanao absolutely has what it takes to make one of these drives happen. For Pla, man, I hope that's part of a bigger name. He is up in P1. X-Play up there in the top of the standings with Diego Villarreal. And, some action back there in the back. It's Suarez who's joined Lozano back there in the backfield. Unfortunately, won't be able to attack the front for the meantime. But it is, I used to be so good at this pronunciation, but it takes a little bit of extra practice. I'm just going to call him Heavy. I mean, it's X-E-V-I. That's heavy, right? I would expect that it would be short for like Javier, like Javi, but it's with an E, so it's just Heavy. which by the way, by far the most dope way to spell heavy out there in the world. But heavy leading by 0.4.
Yeah, not blue. Yeah, heavy doing well out front. Yeah, that's sticking, Reed, 100%. Heavy out front, though.
Let's take a look at
5 spots up as well.
Oh, braking a little bit too heavily, or at least surprising the driver behind him, Suarez. You can see him spinning out there in the back. Unfortunate, but you got to know who's coming up. You can't just brake check the guy behind you and expect to keep going.
Yeah, no brake checking allowed. Of course, that's kind of the dirty thing of sim racing and racing in general. It's a no-go brake checking. But Aaron here, he's surprisingly, it's actually not surprising. 7 spots up in P5. He's going to get another spot here. Opponent Cam as well. Look at the busy face. That's what I call it when everyone's got that tense face. Busy face is just getting a little swamp there from the back there. And a bit of an update, Tim, who's started up the front, 6 spots down, just behind as well, so he's in this battle as well. So he can get some opportunities here for the VR driver, and we'll see that in the coming little laps. So lap 6 going on to.
Yeah,
lap
coming
5.
up, and this midfield battle is so intense right now. Aaron Vasquez, he's always in the thick of it. Either P1 or P, I'm trying to get there, and you kind of know it's coming. So he has climbed all the way up 8 spots so far into P4, and that means that not only does he have a lot to worry about behind, but he's doing it one at a time. Onto the podium finally there, P3 obtained again, a +9, and now it's Diego Villarreal who's got to keep checking that rear view mirror. There is a little bit of a gap there, but if anybody can make that up, whoa, man. I don't know if you saw, there, but he was having a moment, a brief issue, but keeps it pointed forward, which is what you like to see. And keeping it close, right? That mid-pack is still just as close as ever.
Yeah, Dino, like I said, he had that little wobble there. You always have in sim racing that little wobble, and it's almost like it's, are we alive? Are we dead? Are we alive? Or are we dead? Like for that split second. But you always say about Aaron's always in a battle. You're never wrong. Like in the Porsche Cups, like he was just battling all night. He didn't have one bit of fresh air at all. So yeah, you're never wrong about that one. And yeah, Dino there as well, been in the Porsche Cups from last night. Good to see him back as well. And Aaron's up in the P3 and chased down now, and in P3 now.
Yeah, indeed he is. Nico, though, I guess on a +5 drive, but I think what he's running into is, oh, by the way, some of the other guys here are not bad. There's a really, really competitive race, as we keep saying a million times, but even this one is specifically a lot left to offer. We are less than halfway through, which means there is a lot of racing left to do. And that's probably what Nico's thinking. It's like, okay, not in any hurry. It's racing, but you get the idea. He is doing a great job so far. Put up a 58.2, so not faster than the racers in front of him. So if he wants to climb up past this P6, that's what it's going to take. Really, really impressive driving so far by Aaron Vasquez to get up there. Now closing the distance. He's already made up 6/10 in just the last 3 laps, so that is not bad. And especially with Diego Villarreal in front of him with a 1.5 lead, that is, or 2 heavy, that is, there's some distance to go up there in the front of the standings. Now, in the back of the standings, just want to update you. We had Rico Suarez come through with a little bit of a rough Raul Suarez. Why do I call him Rico? Did I read that wrong the first time, and now it's just burned into my brain? Anyway, Raul. Yeah, he's back there. Yeah, he's back there, but he's trying to make it up again. Stigare's in front of him, but not for long. As we watch Philippa, look at this guy go. He's got the NOS tanks filled up and pumping up into P6 right now and looking to take over Nico, who's, I thought he was contesting for higher spots, but now he might be the one getting overtaken, following now Sanao. And what is happening here, Connor?
I think I just saw in the standings he just went from he lost 2 positions. I think he might have went a bit wide and had to collect the car, or he's just let Nico through, to be honest. From the looks of it, yeah, that was a bit weird because he was in P4. So yeah, I don't know if we can get some type of replay there or something, but that was really weird there. Yeah, it was very odd, but Nico's made another spot. I'm into P4, and Aaron, I'm not shocked now. He's up into P2, 10 spots up, and now he's chasing down Mr. Heavy. Here's a little replay on the battle for 7th on the right there. 2 wide, 4-way battle here. Covering that corner, sticks it on the apex, drives off the corner. Oh, a little bit of contact. We saw that before from this driver from before. Now we're on the big screen, 3 wide. He's going to dive into the corner, stay wide. He's going to try and get the under of him. No, stay around the outside.
Wow.
Now he's going to the inside for this corner. He's going to try and not get out any understeer so he doesn't hit anyone. Now look at the cars behind. They're trying to play smart here, and they've got the overlap. Still under him. He's gonna have to go wide, not hit him. Oh, this could be tight. Use all the exit curb, and they have.
No way.
Down to the last corner, and then there you go. That was a close battle there, Reed.
Yeah, Raul coming out on top of all of that craziness. What a month. This is P8, 9, 10. This is back in the back. In fact, we're still killing it. Stigari's not stopping. He's still going, but we got to take a look back at the top of the standings. We had Aaron Vasquez make up a spot on Sanao, and that means that only Heavy is in front of him. Sanao, Vasquez, they are absolutely duking it out with Versbicki right behind them in P4. So much action going on right now, and you got to know for Sanao, he's been here before, right? This is where he finished in heat number 1, and now that he's in heat 2, he might be getting a few flashbacks, some deja vu. But this time it's Versbicki behind him instead of in front, with Heavy kind of mixing things up a little bit. I'm glad that we have more drivers, more competition here in this season. But I think specifically for Heavy, this is a guy that is representing not only his team here, Rincon Racing, but he's here with Raul Suarez, his teammate, I want to say, and it's so cool to see what they're doing. They're mixing it up even just between Heat 1.
Yeah, it's you say about the iRacing, 11k. That is absolutely just insane. He's more than double my iRacing, so yeah, he's doing really well with the 11k iRacing, and we hope he can get to 12 and 13k. He's absolutely flying, and I think he's going to get the move done here. No. Heavy's going to cover. I love that name now. It's stuck in my brain. So Heavy's going to cover a little bit. Aaron's going to stay behind, try and be a little bit smart here. He's backed off a little bit so he can get a good run and try and slingshot on the straight. Heavy's covering, still covering on the grass.
On! He's on the grass. Look at Vasquez go. He can't keep the pedal down that far for that long. He's got to give it back up. But man, absolute intense racing, and we're only barely halfway through our final here tonight. And look at Aaron. He knows he got a little bit there. He's trying to make it stick, and he loves it. And this is truly what the spirit of competition racing is all about, right? You know you're bad, but you got to make it happen. And so you see the sort of a shifting expressions there, and I love that we can highlight that in our player cams. He knows that he is so close to making it happen, but he just cannot get around. It is infuriating. And you know that he's used to being able to make this happen. But man, Heavy, bringing the heat tonight. So really got to give it up to Rincon Racing. They are coming out for the first time ever in AMX and really putting on a show.
Yeah, they're definitely putting on a show. The covering to the little hairpin there, that was brilliant. I see that in a lot of Australian racing, but it's good to see in European racing as well. Good bit of bumping and racing is always the way, isn't it, Reed? Like you want to see that on a stream. You want to see it just in general because it's such a good way to race, and you can see there Aaron's having a little smile there and going, this guy knows how to race. He's covering me like nothing, and yeah, it's good to see.
Oh yeah, for sure, and obviously it makes for good racing for the rest of the people around him, right? We got Versbicki, Sanao, and Vasquez, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to learn on the fly, but Heavy, Sanao, and I want to see Raul Suarez are all on Rincon Racing. So 3 cars represented out here, and 2 of the Drago cars are way out there up at the top too. So nice to see some teams getting out here. And there's Aaron Vasquez. He's trying to get him, but he locks up. He locks up going around the corner, loses the place that he fought so hard for. And now he's got to watch out for Sanao coming through behind. Less than a tenth there for a brief moment. And man, it just does not get any closer than this. So now he's trying to make it happen. Wheel-to-wheel racing, trying not to keep the bumpers too close together there, but it's just so close. Oh my God.
Oh, Nico giving a little return on the bump there, saying, you're not going to bump my teammate around, mate. And it looks good there from the 2 teams fighting it out. And it looks like actually more people are coming in. Dino's coming back into this, and Pedro as well. Oh, more bumping. Nico saying, no, mate, you can't push me all the way that way. Nico on the apex, whack! Smacks that guy out there, and Alberto just, you can see there, Nico's like, what are you doing, man? He's not happy, man. Not happy, but yeah, awesome racing there. I love that. But yeah, Alberto's, he's showing who's boss, and yeah, it's good to see, like, Aaron, especially being 11K, you know, you normally see him just drive off into the distance, you know, being 11K, but this guy's like, no, I'm not allowing you to do that. Heavy's yeah, putting the stance up, and yeah, he's doing well. Lap 15 now.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really, really cool to see. We're getting a little bit of distance here, but we still got 5 laps left around the national circuit of the Red Bull Ring. Coming through for lap 15, and there's a little bit more of a story left to show here, and so I think we're going to put that up on your screens here in just a second, because it's not just about the race that's happening that we've been showing you, but let's take a look at this once again. And this is the whack you were talking about here. Versbicki comes around the corner on the inside. Watch this, a little bit of a love tap. Oop! Oh, what's going on there? That was a little bit rough. Yeah, there we go. No. That is my racing line. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the Rico with the BenQ replay there, showing all the action. Whack! Still hitting him, and Alberto's just giving him the whack the whole way down. Nico's like, you can see that hand go up after this corner, but look at this, pushed him all the way under the curb, and look at that, Nico with absolutely huge slide, but luckily he's in front wheel drive and he can just power out of there and yeah, go back to live now. But yeah, with the BenQ replay there, getting all the action, and Heavy still out in front. Lap 17 we're on now, so how good's this racing though, Reed? Isn't it? It's just fabulous. It's next level, and that's what we like over here at AMX.
I agree. Yes.
Aaron still in P2 there,
definitely, and it's about to get even. Yes, in P2. Aaron Vasquez 1/10 behind now, and he knows he's coming down to the wire. It's 3 more laps to go, not even, and there he goes around the outside into the curve. He can't keep it, so he's gonna swing it back in. Gonna get a tighter line into the next one. No, he's just falling back in line, but man, does it get scarier. And you can see, he takes a little bit too much curve, comes up in the seat. This is getting a little bit spicy. Now it's time for the inside. Can he keep it? No, makes it, goes out around the corner. They're going down the straight, but he runs out of room, and he finds the tighter line. There he goes, too much curve from Heavy in front. Now wheel to wheel. There's another little bit of a love of tap next to each other, sliding on
And there we
through.
go.
And no,
Alberto!
Heavy, no! He goes all the way back to P5.
Alberto, though, he tried to get that, try and put his car right next to Aaron's, just to say, mate, you know, you're there, but I want to take that spot from you, because obviously the teammate has been pushed out and Heavy's been pushed back to P5 as well. So, yeah, huge lock up there. It's quite interesting how these cars lock up. We've seen, you know, normally with rear-wheel drive cars, you know, the lockups are very normal really for, you know, if you have a lockup you can save it, but it looks like with these front-wheel drive cars, when you lock up, yeah, you're definitely not saving it anytime soon. So Nico right on the back here, so two teammates, P1 and P3 versus Alberto. So Alberto's going to have to try and cover here and do the best he can. But I reckon Nico will want this back, because obviously we saw Alberto move Nico the whole way over to the track on the main straight there. And here's a little replay as well, what happened with the lockup.
And you can see just how close they get. But the problem is they're right next to each other, and then there it is. Oh, he can't stop. He can't turn. I don't know if he did just completely lock there, but you can obviously see, yeah, it was not turning the way he wanted it to. And the worst part about that is that as Aaron Vasquez comes through, he has to deal with the racer on the inside, Sinao, who was almost right up against him too, trading a little bit of paint back and forth there. Sinao comes through in second, and Versbicki now in third. One final lap, Connor. We got one more to do it, and anything could happen in these top four spots.
Do you know what this racing's remind me of? This is reminding me of, from my own experience, the Bathurst race we did with the V8 supercars with Jackson in the Texaco car. Just like the battling was just so, I guess, like forced, and like, you know, people moving each other around the track. Like, it's so good to watch. And yeah, we see here with Alberto just in P2, and I think he might cover it off. White flag down to the second last corner, and we're going to come down the last corner. Does he send it up the inside of Aaron?
Oh, man.
Does he? No, he's not going to do it. He's not there. And he comes home in a P1. Of course, the 11K driver has taken another win. Nico coming home in P3 and Alberto in P2.
Yeah, you got to feel for Heavy, man. He had it all race long, and in the end, you can see the look of relief, elation on Aaron Vasquez's face. Yeah, there it is. Let's go. He finishes P1, and his teammate Versbicki right behind him in P3. It's kind of interesting referring to Versbicki, the team manager of Drago Racing, as the teammate of the guy that finishes P1. But there's a reason he's on there. Very, very impressive racing from really all of our racers tonight, specifically the top 5 from heat number 2. Man, did that race deliver, Connor.
Oh, it definitely delivered, mate. It was, yeah, it was another level of battling, and I think everyone wanted to put up a fight between Nico and Aaron. They were like, no, you guys have, you know, done very well in the last race. We're going to give you a battle for the next one. And Aaron coming home with the win, Alberto with the fastest lap, and Nico in P3 and Alberto in P2.
Indeed it is. Yeah, Nico coming home in P3 there as well. Dino Filippa finishes P4. Heavy led so much of the race, finishes P5 with Diego Villarreal. High finish in 6th for the Uruguayan driver Pedro Mora, Raul Suarez, Mauricio Lozano, William Stigare. I just noticed that it's Willian instead of William. My bad. Really good race to round out the end of our AMX 0 races for tonight. Man, I thought qualifying was getting a little bit close there. I was like, "Whoa, this could be a close race." Then Heat 1 really delivers, and Heat 2 comes through. I honestly wasn't ready, Connor. It was a beautiful sight to behold. So what a way to close out our AMX 1 for the day, or our AMX 1 for the day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great racing, and I was looking at the timing sheet as well with Tim, obviously the fellow American dropping all the way back there. But yeah, it's good to see everyone coming back from last night as well. It's really cool to see. But yeah, great racing in Heat 2. It was absolutely awesome to watch.
Well, you're one of the people coming back from last night, so appreciate having you here, and really appreciate everybody for coming out, whether you raced, watched, or everywhere in between. It's been great to have you on board for the second day of what should be an absolutely amazing AMX Global League Season 4. We've got to take a quick break, but in the meantime, make sure to check out the AMX Global League on all of our social media. On Instagram and Twitter, you can see the links right down below. Make sure to follow us, give us a like, subscribe, follow, anything. We'd love to see your support on Twitch and YouTube. Sorry, brain is shutting off. And that means it's time to go to this break. But while we're heading out here, make sure to head over to amxracing.com where you can sign up for races like the one you just saw and like the one coming up. We've got GT3s coming out on the Nurburgring in just a minute. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with even more action from AMX Global League Season 4.
Can you show me what it's like to feel free? With me.
to save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to AMX Global League Season 4. I keep almost saying 3 because it feels like just yesterday we were finishing out our 3rd season, and now here we are back at it again for race number 2 of our AMX 10 GT class. We are taking GT3 class cars out onto the Nurburgring GP track, and it's going to be an absolutely amazing, iconic drive for our final race of the night. It's going to be here with you, and it's going to be here also once again with Connor Nixon. Connor, welcome back. Excited for these GT3s?
Yeah, I'm listening to the music and I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this race. It should be good. GT3s at Nurburgring. I feel like it's very iconic. I feel like we should be on the big course, but I love the little course at the same time. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm pumped for this one. It should be good.
Yeah, when you say the big course, you mean the really big one. So I don't know if we have time to make it too many laps around that one, but we're going to be going around the GP course for tonight in GT3s. Obviously, it's a very popular combo course, cars, tracks, everything in between. And we do have some of the best racers in AMX Global League Season 4 coming your way, coming up. So it's going to be even more competitive. If you think, if you're doubtful, just wait, we've got a lot in store for you tonight. Just run through some housekeeping. If you're new to the AMX Global League Season 4, this overview is for you. We're racing for about 3 months, January 26th, April 21st, 20 grand on the line, and 68 races. So that's a lot of races this year, not only just Season 4, but beyond. The format is a little bit new if you're new to AMX Global League. It's basically double reverse grid. 20-minute qualifier, 20-minute Heat 1, and 20-minute Heat 2, meaning that there's plenty of opportunity, no matter what happens, for you to make up some time and really have a chance to show what you got out there. We do require that you turn on your webcam, camera, cell phone, whatever you got. If you can transmit a picture with it, you can send us an image on StringCan telephone. Let us know. You can join via the link in the AMX Global Discord channel or on our website, amxrace.com, where you can also sign up to race with us on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And when you win money in our races, we do pay you out in increments of $100 every month. Here's a look at those dates and times for Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We're simplifying it a lot this season. So it's just these times, anytime on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Starting off with AMX 1 at 5:50 p.m. and AMX 10 at 7:20, which is where it is if you live in Greenwich. If you live somewhere else, translate those times into your time zone, and that is when we'll be going racing on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And now let's take a look at the AMX 10 race prize pool. This is kind of where we're breaking it down. There is money on the line for qualifying, and this season it's bigger and better than ever. $30 for our first place finisher. And that means that if you win first place in qualifier, pole position, Heat 1, and Heat 2, that is $90 coming your way, plus $4 on the line for the fastest lap in Heat 1 and Heat 2, which means you can almost cash out with $100 if you are perfect across the line. We haven't had any Triple Crown winners tonight. That's first place in qualifier, Heat 1, Heat 2. But there's a lot of races left to race, so plenty of time for our racers to get out there and conquer that challenge. This is a look at the AMX 10 Top 12 for the first time in Season 4, with Aaron Vasquez in first place, William Chadwick right behind him, and Dino Filippa rounding out the top 3. With almost $100 won already, Aaron Vasquez really cashed out in race 1, so really happy to see him and William Chadwick joining us for Season 3 as well. We also have Dino Filippa. It's his first time in AMX Global League, and he's already way ahead of the game. Jackson Asensio, Gal Valero, and Eduardo Leo finish out our top 6. And of course, you guys can read the rest of the names on the screen. If you want your name to be on the screen, amxrace.com is the place to do it. And that's going to do it for our look at the AMX 10 Top 12. Like I said, amxrace.com is the place to sign up. And for a limited time only, if you head on over there and purchase a race ticket 3 days or more before the race itself, you get 30% off. And if you'd like an even deeper discount, you can buy one of our season tickets. We have 6 different classes of races. 3 different classes for AMX 0 or AMX 1, and 3 different classes for AMX 10, which is the race you'll be seeing coming up. So purchase a season ticket at amxrace.com, and we'll see you out there on the track. And that means that it's time to talk about what and where we are racing. And so to do that, I'm going to go ahead and throw things over to Connor to break down what's going on.
So we're at the Nurburgring GP, the small lad of the Nurburgring. So we're in, obviously, Nurburgring, and country, Germany, opened in 1927. So we were at Spa last time, and I feel like the dates are very close to that. 5 kilometers, kind of a small track compared to the big boy one, which is 28 Ks, if I'm correct. So yeah, a bit smaller, but yeah, 5 Ks, awesome little race track, and very difficult, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love whether you call it the small track, because technically it's smaller than, like, you know, Nordschleife, but it is not an easy track by any means. So you absolutely do have to know what you're doing here. And there's a reason that, you know, so much happens here, so many iconic moments in racing. You see some of the names of the corners. You really know that this track, more so than almost any other, has history behind it. And speaking of history behind some of the tracks, these cars here are a little bit historic also.
Definitely. GT3s we're at tonight, we're using tonight. 500 horsepower to 600 horsepower, so a lot of horsepower, but it's controlled horsepower. It's refined. So Ferraris, the GT3s, so you've got Ferraris, Mercs, Beamers, McLarens, they're kind of your main ones. Porsches, very good cars. Rear-wheel drive, 1,200 kilos to 13. Sequential gearbox, which means paddle shift. So we're back on the paddle shift. So yeah, very refined cars. These things, the GT3s were very... There's been a lot of GT iterations. You had GT2s, GTEs, but we're finally the GT3s, which are IMSA cars, WEC cars, and yeah, just your overall racing car in Europe and everywhere around the world.
Yeah, and I have an answer for you, Connor. It turns out that Spa-Francorchamps and the track here in Nurburgring are 300 miles apart. Which is about 500 kilometers, if you want to do that kind of math. So, I mean, I think maybe by American standards, that's not that far, and I guess Australian standards too. You guys put some things far away from each other also. But we're about to put some things very close to each other as we head out onto the track for qualifying. We're going to catch up with our drivers here about 5 minutes through qualifying, and see what they got going on, warming up some tires, getting everything all warmed up, and obviously, probably some practice in the books on this track in these cars for our drivers. So let's see how well that is able to reflect itself. This track, and actually one of the few tracks that I have checked out myself, but I don't think I'm doing it quite like these guys are. Very, very exciting to see not only these cars on this track, but also some of the best drivers in AMX. And we've got a lot of them here tonight. I guess maybe comparatively, if you guys are checking in after a couple of years, but it's going to be a good night of racing here at AMX 10.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be some good racing, Reed. It's definitely one of these tracks as well. You know, obviously I mentioned that it's the smaller version, but it is combined to the big version, which is the Nordschleife, and but yeah, these guys are on the smaller version, and yeah, very good racetrack. And we're in the Lamborghini as well, riding on board. It's this thing here. There's all the stats about our driver. Yeah, I think it's one of these tracks that are a bit smaller, but it's yeah, it's a great little racetrack, and yeah, riding on board, and yeah, awesome little racetrack, and yeah, 4th gear, revving the engine out in the V10, and hard on the brakes, going down the gears. Nice and hard, turning back in and drive out in the exit. But Reed, I feel like I've got a sense that you've tried some of these GT3s in your small time of driving. I feel like you've given it a go at one point.
My small time, yes, my actually very microscopic time driving. I mean, like, it's a lot easier to watch cars race than it is to make them do the racing themselves. Honestly, it gives me so much of an appreciation for the talent the drivers have to have. I mean, it's not just car goes forward and then you turn a little bit. No, it's really something to be able to sort of feel not only where the car is at on the track spatially, but also where the car is at, like in its lifetime of the race, right? Whether it's keeping an eye on the tires, keeping an eye on where you are in relationship to the rest of the cars around you. It is 100 million things going on all at once, and oh, by the way, you're going 200 miles an hour. So very, very impressive to see what our drivers have coming out tonight. And speaking of our drivers, we do have a kind of a who's who of some of the newer drivers to this season, but also some of the old faces. I saw Quarantine Guinness out there on the track tonight, putting up, oh, by the way, P1 provisional pole up there. At the top, he's got his countryman 777's lucky number, Gael Valero, down there in P3. Fabrizio Belziti from Voracious Racing out here. And Boris also joining us. We got Dornella, Zamperlini, Senje, and Calavi, a few more that I can't quite read below there, but really a who's who of some racers that you guys might have seen before if you're an old fan of AMX Global League.
Yeah, definitely. We got some new drivers, Reed, and it's great to see new faces, isn't it? Like it's interesting when they come to the league and they come to the table and it's like, okay, let's see what you got, and then they verse some of our drivers that have been here for a very long time, and it's so interesting to see how they go, and it's awesome to see, and we've seen this livery from last night in the Porsche Cups, and it's on the GT3, and I absolutely love that livery. That black and gold just suits cars so the cars so nicely, and whoever their graphic designer is, I should get in contact. Great looking livery.
No, I was going to say we really have some of not only the greatest drivers, but also these liveries are top class. And speaking of top class, this is Fabrizio Belziti. Now, I have to say, Connor, I'm disappointed this season because Fabrizio has moved his camera from the view that we were at last season. We were getting a look at the time he puts in at the gym. Whereas also on the other end, we have Gael Valero, who has also moved his camera, but it's been up a little bit. He's decided that this is his good angle. So that's what we'll be watching whenever we see him out on the track, and we will be seeing a lot of him because he is quite fast. 157.5 out there, right below Quarantine Guinness, and we've seen some of the best battles in AMX Global League between these two guys before, and it's so exciting to be able to watch them duke it out head-to-head here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. With the camera changes, so it's quite funny when you see the camera changes because your brain's so used to it. Then they swap it around, and you're like, oh. But change is good though, Reed. Change is good.
I agree. Let's talk about some of the change here. As far as Nurburgring goes, obviously there's Nordschleife, so that's not going to be what we have to talk about here tonight. When it comes down to GT3s, obviously there has been quite a bit of GT3 action out here, whether you're talking about 24-hour races or really every race in between. We've seen a lot of that. For lap records, though, when it comes down to the modern GP track for the Nordschleife, you're looking at about 146 in real life, 157 being set here on time, and then that's just due to maybe some of the regulation changes, the way that the car has been homologated. This is obviously set back, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, so things have changed a little bit since then. As far as the cars that you're seeing being raced here virtually.
I was going to say, you're talking about lap times. Do you remember when the F1 came here a couple of years ago and they put the F1 cars on this track? That was sensational to see those cars ripping around. with those lap times. But obviously we're in GT3s, can't talk about F1 cars, but I like to mention it every now and then about Formula One. But yeah, these GT3s, like I said, they're such a famous car. I think they're one of these cars now which, if you either don't drive them on the sim, you're a bit of a, it's a bit weird. But, the other point as well in real life, these cars are actually cheaper to go and race these days than what they used to be back in the day, because technically they're the affordable version of a GT car, because they had the GT3s, but the GT3s came out to be more affordable back in the day. But now, obviously, all the GT classes are gone, besides, obviously, on screen, GT3s, and I'm kind of happy with that, because these cars look very menacing, and they look very nice, obviously, with the Lamborghinis and the Beamers. Absolutely love it. Fabio on screen. Did I say Fabio? Yeah, I did. We could call him Fabio, because look at that haircut. Looks absolutely amazing. But,
well, I mean, we could call him Fabio if there wasn't also a Fabio in the race.
But yeah, it's these cars were amazing, and yeah, bit of movement on track now too.
That's right, because we're coming to the end of qualifying. This is where the good stuff happens. You guys were like, oh man, he's going faster now. I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes. The final 5 minutes of our 20 minutes of qualifying, and that means that guys like Quarantinkin has Assetto pretty up there in provisional pole. Whoa!
Oy.
Okay, Fabio, that's not the direction it's supposed to go. I love that we watch him crash right as we show the driver information. So if you want to send this guy a message on social, hey man, I watched you. Okay, don't do that. Tell him he's a nice individual. So let's see what our drivers have left in their gas tanks here. Checking out Simone Demori. He is, I keep calling him Simone because I don't know, maybe too much Timon and Pumbaa. But for Simon Demori, of course, our, is it Swiss? No, it's Belgian, right? Okay, I got to get my flags correct. But either way, yeah, Simon out here putting up a 158.1 right next to Jackson Asenge, so he's in good company. Both of these guys very, very, very fast. Let's see if they have any gas left in the tank. It does take about 2 minutes to make it around the track, so for all intents and purposes, these are the final laps for the racers you'll be seeing on your screen tonight.
Ooh. Yeah, we're getting right down to the wire, and look at that, fastest lap. And let's see if he can quarantine. No, doesn't beat it. He's on a lap now. Let's actually ride on board with this for a lap, because I guess we can kind of take a little bit of information of what he's doing, how the car's moving around. But I was going to say, Reed, these with obviously all these drivers, it's quite interesting with all the flags, isn't it? Because it's like, I guess I'm so used to Australian racing when it's only Australians and New Zealanders, and when I come and commentate around here, it's like, whoa, so many countries, and it's so good to see, isn't it? Like, you've got such a different side of racing, isn't it? Really.
Ah, yes, diversity. I mean, truly the spice of life, but also you really get some regional battles. And traditionally, I guess it's been a lot of Brazilian and French racers racing against each other. But really at the end of Season 3 and now here in Season 4, we are truly going worldwide. Avando joining us, of course, from America. But also, not doing too bad. 158.0 up there on the charts, and just about ready to hit that 157. Let's see if he can do it. I think that quite a few of our racers have one lap left in them in the final minute of qualifiers here, so we might see the standings change up a little bit, because I mean, look at the times here. It's a 2-minute lap, and so that means that there should be a lot of variety, but I don't see it. We have tens to hundreds separating some of our racers here. There's Asenge beating out Zamperlini, who opted not to do his final lap here. And let's see if that top 777 Kyle Valero lap finishes out strong. Final 15 seconds coming down to the wire across the line. Whoa, losing it there right before. I think he knew he wasn't going to be able to beat a yellow sector earlier. So that's going to do it for our top three. Dornella coming around the corner, and not going to make it. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Crumbles Connor. I gotta work on that one for tonight. Yeah, great qualifying, and I think we really got to see things heat up a little bit, get a little bit spicy there towards the end.
Very spicy.
I see the heat timer ticking, but I'm not ready for that yet. We still have to get the cars out there on the grid and recap what we saw in qualifying. So if you're just now tuning in and wonder what just happened a few moments ago, this is a look at your BenQ session winner. 75% of Gael Valero's face. That's what did it. Quarantine Ganez is countryman right below him by 19 hundredths. That is not much. And, of course, less than a second below him there, less than a tenth of a second below is Fabrizio Belziti, who really has this track dialed in. I don't know if he's just testing here, but looks like it. Lucas Dornella right below him with Boris Ovando. They're rounding out the top 5. Out of our 10 racers tonight, Hasenje, Zamperlini, Demori, and Calavi, Philippa down there in P10. And that's all about to change because we are reverse gridding all 10 of our racers, flipping it around and heading into heat number 1.
Yeah, swapping it all around makes it quite interesting, doesn't it? And there's your reverse grid for this race. I was about to say tonight, but no, we've got a couple of races coming up. So there you go. We're going to reverse grid it. And turn 1, Reed, I think it's going to be quite interesting because we go straight into a hairpin. So I'm wondering if there's going to be any bumpers on bumpers, if you get my drift. And yeah, here we go. We've got them behind the safety car now, and we're going to see them go around for this. I think it's only 2-3 corners, and we'll see them get racing for tonight. And a lot of Lamborghinis tonight here, Reed. I'm happy there's a couple of V10s. It gets me all spicy inside. I think I love a good V10. And we've got a Beamer on front, and we're going to see them go single file for this little start. Back to double file. And here we go for the start of the GT racing. We saw Porsche Cups last night, and we're going to see GT3s race tonight. Get ready, folks. AMX GT3s is what we're all about. And we're going to go in a second, and there they go. Started GT3s at Nurburgring. There we go. Good launch by the Beamer.
And really a good launch by almost everybody. We got Simon Demori there in third, holding strong with Dornella wheel to wheel right beside him. Bumper to bumper, and there it is. Calavi coming out the biggest winner after all. He really is setting the pace here, starting to pull away. And Simon behind him has survived all of that carnage up front. Unfortunately, Philippa didn't make it into the start, or out of the start, rather. And you've got to watch out for a little bit of a spin. No, that's going to be... No. I think it was Belziti who went off out there towards the back, so unfortunately couldn't quite make that sharp turn. And thankfully no further carnage, keeping it clean around the first few corners. But wow, this is some great racing to start off our time here on the Nurburgring.
Yeah, definitely a good start there. And here's the incident with this little incident. I'm just wondering what kind of happened in the bottom right here. Oh, a little bit of dive bomb there with Gallo there in the background. I think they're actually fighting there with the American. So we'll see that. And here's the incident. And just see there, just a little bit of, I think that might have been a little bit of neck code actually. So he's lost out there. And yeah, he's just on the back, but he hasn't lost too much time, thankfully. Oh my God, English. So riding on board with Contes, and back to the front with the Beamer. I'm happy it's a Beamer and the Ferrari at the front. Gives it a good little mix to the race. And I was going to say, with this little 10-lap heat, it's a bit of an interesting one because we had 8 laps at Spa last night, and yeah, it's a bit longer for tonight, which is kind of nice. So we might see all the front guys up the front in a minute, and I reckon they'll have a battle for a good bit of time there. So running on board though was Simon, and yeah, he looks very concentrated, and that busy face, as I called it last night, and the opponent Cam as well running right next to it.
That's right. He's right next to Gaston Calavi, who's currently sitting P1, but maybe not for long. Look at this. Oh my God, spaceships rocketing by each other as they come even closer than ever before. It's 2 tenths and now even less. Actually, the color there kind of blends into the track, so I'm trying to keep keep my eyes peeled to find out exactly what that number is. It is the periwinkle sky canceling that out. My color wheel going against me here tonight. So for Simon, his opponent is just barely keeping in front of him 3/10 as they go around for the second lap out of 10 tonight. And actually, I love that Gaston is kind of talking to himself, or maybe to maybe some spotters or whatever he's got going on. But he's going to need everything to try to keep. Whoa! Simon back at bay. He is coming closer and closer, close 3/10 over 2 corners.
Yeah, he's. I was going to say Fabio's coming into the mix. Actually, I'm just watching him in the relative there. He's coming up on behind Simon, so we might have a 3-way battle here. And I was going to say that was a cheeky little dive bomb. Or does he go under him actually? So on this exit, might go under him there. No, he's washed off all the speed, so he might get the run. But yeah, that was a little cheeky dive. I saw that just in the mirror there of Gaston there. He covered those, so doing a really good battle here. And Fabio is coming into the mix with the big Lamborghini. So a lot of Italian cars tonight, which yeah, it's quite good to see V10s, like you said before. The Ferrari though, he might go for I was going to say, I'm surprised he's actually not going for an under and over there, but just washing off a little bit too much speed on the exit there. And yeah.
And yeah, Calabi is doing a great job at holding off Simon Murray. But keep in mind, this was off the back of a reverse grid, which means that we have a lot of very, very strong racers still racing their way up the field. And it's only 10 laps, so you really do have to get it done. That does even out. Whoa, around the corner, Simon trying to make this stick, but no, it's going to turn back the other way, and that means that he goes right back behind, but not for long. He's less than a 10th in front behind. Who's going to come out of this turn in the lead? Gulhavi keeping it together, and whoa, around the outside. I think Simon might have him as the corner comes back his way. This is so close, too close to call, and Simon just not giving up. He finally pulls back in it. No, he loses it. Oh, too close on the turn.
Yeah, he just lost all the grip on the outside there. The Ferrari lost all its grip. So he's dropped it back heaps of spots there, losing 3 positions from where he started. So he's in a really good position there. So he's moved up a lot, and then, yeah, just lost a little bit of grip there. So now Fabio's going to give it a go with it. Jackson, he's a countryman. I feel like that's the AMX word at this point, countryman. I feel like that's just grabbed on, and we've kept with it. But Fabio's going to give it a go here in the Lamborghini. And coming onto the back straight and coming onto lap 4 on the next lap. So 3 laps down already. So I was going to say there hasn't been that much movement yet compared to last night, but I guess with Spa and Nurburgring, it's a bit different. Nurburgring's a bit more technical, and you've got to set some, I guess, dive bombs and all the moves you want for certain corners compared to certain racetracks in the world. And obviously we're in Belgium in the Nurburgring. So we'll see. It'll all play out. Duck Hawk Racing riding on board now. So obviously Duck Racing, I'm pretty sure they're new to AMX, and riding on board with them. And yeah, new team. I think I'm correct there, Reed. And if not,
in fact, they're one of the oldest teams for the AMX. Fabrizio Fabio Zamperlini, you got me doing it now too. Fabio Zamperlini, known far and wide for a lot of things, but specifically, as we watch Simon, yeah, you can see he's right on the edge of grip there, and he comes a little bit too close through the apex of that turn, spins off and loses all those places. But man, it's hard to keep an eye on the replay when we have so much action going on track. You saw those lights flashing a little bit from Fabio.
Yeah, Jackson just giving a little flash there, going, "Oh, buddy, that was a bit rude." And the Texaco car there. I think it's a Texaco car. Just reading off the names. Cortez though, he's up heaps of spots, up actually up 6 spots at the moment in the Lamborghini, and he's absolutely flying. Racing against this guy, he definitely knows how to race. He drives a lot of cars, and here we go. Guile, though, he's moved up heaps of spots as well, so he's 5 spots up and about to get around Jackson, which we all know that is a very aggressive driver. He knows how to park a car with an Apex, so we'll see him do his thing, and yeah, we'll see this all play out.
That's right. We're about not quite halfway, but coming through lap 4, and man, it's getting intense up top. This is in the middle of the pack, and it's Guile Valero trying to make a move on the Jackson Asenge. Whoa, so close to getting turned in on, or at least not having the ability to stay alongside. For Guile Valero, he's sitting there in P5 trying to make the climb happen, but Asenge in front. Man, the back end of that GT3 looks wide. A little bit of contact, that's right. Bumping up and down and trying to come around the outside. Guile Valero stays in P5, cannot take out Jackson Asenge, but it's more up. No! He turns in front of Simon Mori.
Not happy.
That is not the way to make that happen.
Yeah, we saw Gale's camera there with the forehead and the nose, so he wasn't happy there. If he does get in the commentary box, I think the nicknames are going to definitely come out after this race. But Gale there getting turned in the Apex car there, and we still get our leader from the start, still leading this race, so he's doing very well here, having some really good pace in that BMW in the race, so maybe the BMW was the way to go. The driving back around the course now, and we're about halfway into the race and halfway through the circuit, and we saw that contact there, and I wonder what really happened there, because Simon went for a dive bomb at turn 1 and got it done, but it looked like Gale just wanted to stick on the outside or the inside. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll see a little replay in the bottom right, I'm sure of it, from our awesome producer in the background. And here we go. This is full screen replay crash, and we're going to have it by Ben Q's replay.
That's
Here we
right.
go. So Simon's actually on the...
Oh, no, go for
Simon
it. Yeah.
Gale just there on the inside, and it looks like he's turned out, and then there's a bit of contact there with Simon being there. He probably didn't think he'd be really there, and yeah, that's our replay of Ben Q. Really appreciate that one. Always bringing the replays from Ben Q, our awesome sponsor. Now, Fabio is still in P2, and look who's in P3. The man, the myth, the legend, eh? Oh, there's a little bit of a blink there in the Assetto Racing Lamborghini. And maybe the internet's not doing too well. Meanwhile, up the inside, doing a really good move there. Still there, and Reed, I'll let you talk, mate, because I feel like...
There we go. Yeah, thanks. Anytime, man. No, I got you. For Fabio, up into P2, this represents one of the best drives I've seen from him in a cool minute. He's got Quarantine Kidez right behind him, though, and that's not a position Quarantine likes to be in. Being behind somebody is something that might not be as used to, because absolutely one of the best drivers in AMX Global League for so many seasons, right? This guy champion multiple times last season, and he's back at it again here in P3. But man, Fabio, he's always been so consistent. He's had race wins before, so it's not like this is a new position for him to be in. But it's about keeping it, maybe calm is the word. Because this is obviously very tense, right? We're coming through the latter half of our first heat of the night. And as we check out his opponent's cam with Quarantine Kidez right there, he's going to go down the outside, or I guess it was inside after the curve, and Quarantine Kidez back up into second. Meanwhile, opportunism. Jackson Asenge comes back and does Fabio Zamperlini at the same time from second to fourth. So I was talking about holding on to that lead, so difficult to do.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to do. We haven't actually seen from last night. It's good to see actually someone that started the race still in the front, and we're on lap 6 now. Quarantine's though, I reckon he might have something for him, because yeah, we've been seeing him going through the field very easily, and I wonder if we'll see the old flash headlights from Jackson from behind, because obviously we saw that little flash, I guess, just to say, hey buddy, I'm still there. And Fabio, I think he got a slowdown in that little section there in the back of the circuit, so that might have been the reasoning, because yeah, he's lost another position there. So the Duck Racing car just falling back a little bit. Meanwhile, on board with Quarantine, and he's doing very well just to sit there, and I reckon there will be a dive bomb, and having a look, going, this is my corner, this is my track, mate, and driving on exit, and you can just see how smooth he is on the steering wheel. No one knew he's such a good driver.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think for moves like that, you kind of gotta shut the door. If you leave that open, that's what's gonna happen. Quarantine is always looking for any opportunity to get by into P1. Gaston Calavia guy also knows what it's like to be a race winner last season. He got it done, but for Quarantine man, he doesn't stay behind you for very long. We've got 3 more glorious laps here at the Nurburgring GP, and I think for Guinness, that might be enough for him to make this happen. And he's already looking for it, closing the gap to just under a tenth, or under 2/10 there as he stays right now. But I mean, there is action elsewhere also. We've got things happening with Fabrizio Belzini trying to climb into the top 5. Kyle Valero, who dropped all the way back, and no, it's Ovando! No! Falling all the way out, he spins back to the back, and oh man, an unfortunate situation to have happen there. But man, there's just action going on everywhere as it continues to heat up at the top of the field.
Yeah, definitely heats up a little bit here. With obviously, I said with the start there, saying the Beamer still being in front, and he's still in front, and we're going to go on to lap 8 now. So only 2 laps more to go, and Quarantine's trying to figure out a way. The old itch in the nose as well down the straight, which we all love to see when you've got an itch on your nose. It's never fun, but moving along, and see if he goes under there. We've just seen him going a little bit wide there, and I reckon he might get the move done in this infield here. And the busy face is happening, and up the inside maybe. Yep, there it is. There we go. Knew that was coming. Does he go under? Nope. And he's going to keep staying behind him for 2 more laps, I reckon, because he's not giving up. And Fabio and Jackson actually coming into the situation as well. On the outside, does he get the move done? No, maybe. Yes, he gets it done. And he's got the inside, so that is his corner. And bye-bye, Cortez. He is gone. He's out of here. So the car number 19 in Assetto Racing Lamborghini is out of here.
I don't know how out of there that is. We do have only 2 laps left. I mean, it's still pretty darn close. Look at this racing pack up at the front. Yeah. There's 4 very, very close. Obviously, less than half a second separating them, and usually quite a few less. So for Quarantine Guedes, he got it done, right? He's in the lead. There it is. Mm-hmm. But I think Calavi, Hasenje, Zamperlini, that's where the action is really going to be focusing for the rest of the race. If Calavi can get the rundown, I want to see it happen, but for the most part, as Jackson Hasenje guy, he knows what it's like to be a race winner. He did it multiple times. Absolutely was one of the best racers on, well, because he's still on the same team, although they go by a different name. It's Delint, I think now, a tire manufacturer in Brazil, taking over the Tony Kanaan esports team. There he is, Jackson Hasenje. Keeps the helmet colors, changes up the livery a little bit, but he's still the same great racer from last season. And this guy knows how to get down and dirty with it. He is absolutely aggressive and will not take no for an answer when it comes to the places ahead of him. And so as he closes the distance to Gaston Calavi, it's the guy he's raced against so many times before. He's setting faster times, faster laps, and it's all going to come down to a couple of final laps here on the Nurburgring.
Yeah, definitely. We're on lap 9 now, so we're getting nice and close here. And Jackson, being the aggressive driver, I reckon he'll not give him an easy time for these last couple of laps here. And Gaston just doing his thing. We obviously seen him up the front, so like Reed said, he definitely knows what he's doing. And Fabio staying behind as well. And Fabio and Jackson not being teammates from the looks of it, he might take the cheeky P3 off him as well. So there's a couple of battles on track as well, and this is definitely the biggest one at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is something going on with Kyle Valero as he climbs himself out of the pits of hell, aka 10th, but he's already up to 7th, so some things happening back in the back. You can never close your eyes. There's so much going on. I mean, obviously for now, it's Hasenje, Calavi, Zamperlini trying to keep it close. Zamperlini, he was up there, right? He was in P2 for quite a long time. He's now holding steady in position number 4. For Jackson Hasenje, though, I think he's got what it takes to hold on, but I don't think he's content with that, right? I know he wants more, but with half a second make up in the final lap of our time here on the Nurburgring, that might be a little bit too much to ask.
I don't know. I reckon he could get it done. It looks like the infield's definitely the way to go for the passing opportunities. It looks like the outer side of the track is definitely not the way. Meanwhile, the man, the myth, the legend, Gale, is coming up through the field. Obviously, we saw him with the little spin there. The Frenchman is, I wouldn't say he's too happy with that little movement, I'd say. He's definitely a competitive racer from talking to him from last night, and yeah, I reckon he would want a couple more spots, because I feel like P3 is definitely not the way, and I reckon Reed could give me a little bit more info about that. But meanwhile, Jackson riding on board, trying to close the gap. He's like Reed said, I reckon he'd want better than a P3.
Yes, I in fact believe that most of our racers would like that. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. I mean, white flag's out, right? So we have limited time left out on Nurburgring tonight. We're talking about how good GT3 cars are, but I don't know if it's the cars delivering tonight. Obviously, yes, but truly the greatest determiner of skill, the players, the drivers, the racers inside them. The gap distances itself between Gaston Calave and Jackson Hasenje, but for Fabio Zamperlini, he knows the time is now. A Duck Hawk racing car. Crucially enough, it's not the ducks, it's the hawks that hunt the ducks. So there are ducks and duck hawks. It's a cycle of life right there. He is doing his absolute best to keep it close, but I think P4 might be where we see Fabio finish here tonight.
Yeah, I've actually just noticed that now you've mentioned that. That's yeah, I like that. But maybe they wanted to be a bit more aggressive instead of being called duck racing. So they've put the hawk there. Meanwhile, talking about ducks and hawks, riding on board with one of them and back up the front with Quarantine, and he's going to come around for the last lap, and he's on white flag, and this will be it for him to win the race out, starting from last. And here we go across the finishing line with the flashy lights. Well done for the win.
That's right. Quarantine Cadez crosses the line with a 2.5 second, 2.747 lead over Gaston Calavi, who will take the second checkered flag behind him. Jackson Hasenje in third, Simon Mori, and on down the roster. Unfortunately, Philip going out a little bit earlier on in the race. But man, what a race, what a car, what a track, everything all together. Delivering tonight. Your Heat 1 results before we reverse things and do it one final time. It's Quarantine Guinness in number 1 with Gaston Calavi coming through. Jackson Hasenje rounding out the podium for the top 3. Simon Demore, man, oh my God, I can still see that guy up in P2, and then unfortunately not quite locking up, but just unable to get the grip to be on his side as he rounded that fateful corner. Go back and check that replay out if you guys missed what happened. But for Fabio Zamperlini, man, I was pulling for Fabio over the course of the race to be able to make it happen, but Hasenje and Simon getting him there at the end and getting the better of what was a very, very competitive Heat number 1. But that's not all, Connor. We got more coming up in just a few seconds. We're getting back out onto the Nurburgring for one final time tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Fabio, they're doing very well there. And yeah, with Simon, he good recovery. But now he's in P5, so we'll see what he can do. I feel like he's going to be in a very good spot. P6 actually, and yeah, I reckon he could do something very nicely, because yeah, it looks like he's got a lot of race pace. And your fellow countryman, he's up the front, Mr. Reed. So I feel like you might be rooting for him.
That's right, Boris. Crucially enough, just want to mention that in order to be reverse gridded, you have to complete the race. So if you don't complete the race, I'm guessing that's what's happening with Dino. Either That or he was DQ'd at some point. I need to get an update on that. For the meantime, we are going to hop on board with Fabrizio Belziti as he starts us off for our final time tonight. The green flag is waving, and we are racing for our final time on the Nurburgring here at our GT3s. Ovando getting a nice start here. P2, P3, right between everything. Belziti zooming out to a 0.6 lead, but behind him, absolute devastation. Not in the crashing way, but just so much competition. Close racing, but now things thinning out as we round our third corner. It is Fabrizio Belziti on a 0.7 advantage. Gael Valero Ovando right behind him, and man, he gets even closer the further down the roster when you look. Ganez and Calabi rounding out the back of the pack here. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I don't think it will take it long. Oh, a little bit of fussy battling there with Quarantine. Just it gets a little bit of contact there, trying to make a move, and it didn't get it fully finished there. So he's lost 2 spots from that, and yeah, he'll have to try and figure something out there. But meanwhile, up the front, let's just enjoy that for a second with the big V10s just going over those curbs, and yeah, with Gael here, just I reckon this is a bit of an unfair advantage he's got here, being in P2. So I reckon he'll be enjoying this after the last race, getting that little bit of contact. So that'll be a good little battle. Meanwhile, Simon, we talked about him in the first race, and he's already up 2 spots. So like I said before, he's got some really good race pace, and we should see that in a couple of laps.
And maybe a couple more, after that. We've got a lot of them. 9 more to go. 10-lap race here tonight. You might look familiar if you are watching that. Oh, heading into the pit lane. Is there some damage there? I don't know if Fabio had some damage there, but there's Lucas Dornella rather coming into the pits. That looked interesting. I mean, he is pitting, so maybe he ran out of gas. I don't know. I mean, it is a long race, right? Yeah. We'll see him come out of the pit lane and...
Oh, no.
Oh, I guess he had a penalty, maybe?
That's very weird, actually. We need a couple of updates. Yeah, it wasn't a drive-through, because normally you go straight through with the pit lane, if anyone didn't know, watching the AMX race at the moment. But yeah, he kind of did a little stop and then went. So I wonder if that's a fast repair even. So I wonder with the contact with Quarantines, maybe there was a little bit of contact there, and yeah, maybe that's giving him some axle damage, suspension damage, or an engine damage, maybe, because obviously the engine's in the rear. So yeah, it's quite an interesting one. We'll get an update with that one. Meanwhile, up front, Boris, the countryman of Reed. I feel like, yeah, like I said, countryman. I feel like that's just the word we've taken from for AMX, and we're going to keep with it. Fabio, though, we saw him in the last race doing very well. He stayed in the same spot of where he started, so not gaining any positions there. But meanwhile, we saw Quarantines obviously try and make some spots there before, and he lost out some. But yeah, he's gained them all back now, and up 3 spots now, and doing well there.
I agree. No, I think, I mean, obviously, when you have a reverse grid, the faster racers at the back have some work on their hands. And when you talk about guys like Gael Valero, he clearly is one of the fastest guys on the track here. And a little bit of an oopsie in heat number 1, but now finds himself reverse gridded into the future. He is going to be battling Fabrizio Belziti for what feels like the rest of the race, as long as they can both do that in a nice, kind, happy, fair kind of way. But we'll keep an eye on them. Right now we're on Fabio Zamperlini as he is doing epic, devastating battle with the specter of Quarantine Ganez, who is just barely behind him for what feels like only the next few seconds. Trying it out the outside, doesn't work. Back around the inside, can't get through. And continuing to squeeze him right against that the red curve. It does not get much more difficult than this. You can see Fabio just driving the defensive race of his life, but oh Lord, Ganez is still coming, trying to make it around the outside, can't hook his wheel on in.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just said smart there because obviously with Corrente's, flashy headlights. That's interesting because he's done nothing wrong there, but we obviously saw Fabio just covering in the right spots and putting the car in an awkward spot. And meanwhile, Corrente's going from the inside and now will be on the outside, so Fabio's done that absolutely perfectly. Corrente's going to get a better run. They're going to get held up here a little bit just because they're battling to a faster. Corrente's still on their flashy headlights. Is he going to go for another dive? But yes, he is. Good dive bomb. Oh, no. Contact. Seen a bit of contact tonight with Corrente's. A little bit of contact there. So, yeah, a bit aggressive tonight, are we?
You love to see it. It doesn't get much better than that. Close as it gets. And ultimately, Fabio Zamperlini gets done up around the inside. Now, having to be behind Quarantine Guedes is not a bad thing. Pretty much the best racers in the world know what that's like. One of the fastest guys out on the track, and he is coming for those top 5 spots. Top 3, top 2. Feels like he's really only trying to win races out here. He had so many wins, most, I believe, than any racer last season. And now he comes out into season 4 and do it all over again.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers, isn't he, Red, that just wants to win everything. And yeah, it's great to see one of those drivers they do doing really well on AMX Global. So yeah, it's good to see. Very good to see.
Yes, it is. It is, in fact, good to see. I like seeing it. And in fact, we're going to be seeing a lot of it for the remaining 6 laps, 5.5 of tonight. I think for the front of the pack, I actually thought it was going to be a little bit closer between Gael Valero and Fabrizio Belziti, but it feels like Belziti is pulling off into the distance. So for the meantime, we're keeping our eyes on the closest racing action that is out on the track here tonight, and that is Gaston Calavi coming up behind Fabio Zamperlini. Man, it's just so close. Either way, for Calavi, he's got the opportunity here. He's got the chance. But we saw a great example of, I think, one of the most iconic character traits of Fabio Zamperlini just moments ago, right? How hard it is to pass this guy. He is so tenacious at hanging on to a place when he gets it. You saw how much work Quarantine Guedes had to put in just to get past this guy in P6. He is a menace to get past. And so for Calavi, he might be back there for a little bit.
Yeah, he's almost like Jackson, isn't he? And I keep saying Texaco, but I feel like it's ingrained in my brain now. But anyway, good dive bomb on Boris there on the American. Doing a good dive bomb, and he's on the outside. We just saw a little bit of contact there with Boris there, just moving a little bit out, just saying, I need a little bit of room. But yeah, very good move there. He, yeah, both gave really good room there. And yeah, I was going to say Jackson is very similar to Fabio there. Just same driving style, isn't it? Just, you know, very aggressive, but it's like, okay, if you're going to get past, you've got to do a lot. I'm not going to give it to you quite easily. And you know, I think that's probably the best racing we can ever see. And Jackson just riding on board here with the awesome camera, with our production team being one of the best in the world, and just hard on the brakes here. We've seen a lot of moves actually at that corner there tonight. I think that's by far the biggest passing opportunity. So I feel like if you get close enough through turn 1, turn 2, you can line it up and go for the dive bomb there. And I reckon we'll see a lot of that.
Oh, no. Well, we're not going to be seeing a lot of Jackson Asenge. He is out of there for some reason, I'm guessing. For Quarantine Guedes, though, that's where it's at. He is climbing, top 5 for now. And I think that's where he's going to be for a cool minute, because he has a 2.5 second gap to make up there. Ovando, the American, coming through in his first race tonight. Really, really exciting to see a fellow countryman of mine in the top 3 here, and by a little bit. 2.5 or almost 3 seconds, yeah, there to Valero in front, with Mori a second behind. Looks like this is a good place to chill out for the midfield, middle of this race. I mean, it's lap 5, position 3. The top 3 pretty locked in. It's not totally sewn up just yet, but I mean, impressive things happening. Specifically here, Fabrizio Belziti leading the way, but for how long? have to throw the seed of doubt into people's minds because Valero is climbing. He had a purple sector a few minutes ago and now back up towards the top of the standings. And in fact, if I check my times here, it appears as if Gael Valero is about a 10th faster, or was a 100th faster last lap. So, the little things, they add up.
They definitely do add up. It's people watch these races and go, oh, it's only 300ths, and it's for a race car driver or a sim driver. That's massive. Like if you go to 10th a lap, that is just it's almost like you go to a fourth dimension. You know what I mean? Like it's such a big thing, and a lot of people don't realize unless you are a sim racer, racer. And talking about from that point of view, I just want to mention this. Me and my team were actually sitting there last night watching the 24-hour after AMX Global, and we were all laughing because we were comparing ourselves to the real life drivers in the 24, and it was so funny because we were like, oh, he's not doing the line right, he's not doing this right, because obviously it's such a, sim racing and real racing is just so close to each other now. It's actually insane. We watched the race last night and we had the exact same lines. So yeah, if you want to get into sim racing and a league race, go to AMX Global and sign up and do a couple of races, and you can get on the broadcast and you can have Reed and myself yell at you and say good things about yourself.
I mean, there are a lot of good things to say about most of our racers tonight, so makes sense to see so much of it all night long. I mean, this is the second half of our final heat of the night. AMX 10, where a lot of the pinnacle of competition comes to race. It's the GT class, their GT3 class cars out here, and I think they've just been delivering all night long. And now it comes down to what feels like the final boss battle of the night. It's Gael Valero versus Fabrizio Belzini. Belzini has owned the future. He has lived in the present? No, that goes against what I just said. Anyway, he's been in first place for the entire race after an incredible start. He really just took that advantage and ran with it. And it's great to drive in the clean air, right? You just drive it on yourself. You're playing single player, trying to build as big of an advantage as you can. However, the advantage not big enough to keep Gael Valero at bay. He is still keeping it just about within half a second, which is still a pretty big margin. But when you look at it like this from the dash cam of Gael Valero, this is, I think it's bumper cam, but this is it's a little bit closer than you'd like to have. It's so close to the end of the race.
Yeah, Belzini just having that good gap, isn't he? Just trying to, look at those lap times every lap, not really concentrating with Gael and his rear view mirror. And I'd say that Apex car looks very big in the little digital display in that car. So I'd say he's just focusing on the road and really just going for those apexes and the exits. Not really going, okay, there's a guy in my mirror. And normally when you're racing as well, you're not really looking in your mirror. I've said a lot to my teammates, you just don't look in your mirror. Like the more you look in your mirror, the more you get scared, the more you make mistakes. So when I'm racing personally, and I know it's probably not a good example because most of these guys are 8K, 7K, 6K, or 11K if you're like Aaron from last race. It's definitely one of those things where you just can't look in your mirror too much. And yeah, these guys are doing really well. And Belzini just doing what he needs to do, just hitting those curbs too. I just saw the car bounce really aggressively there, and we're going to come on to lap 8 here now. Belzini doing a very good job, and Gael Valero just following behind.
But for how long? We've got 2 more laps of racing action here. And this is the best thing is that you can't stop. It might look like there are some gaps between these cars, but like if they just like take their foot off the pedal for like not even half a second, then they lose their spot. So you have this advantage, but you only have this advantage as long as you keep putting the pedal to the metal. Witness what we have happening in P4. Simon Mori breathing his exhaust is Quarantine Ganez right behind him. Only 3/10 and 2 laps to go on the Nurburgring GP. There's plenty of time, Connor. Anything can happen.
Definitely. There's definitely a lot of time to you know, see a lot of things, and for these drivers to do a lot of things as well. And this battle is actually quite interesting because we've talked a lot about Simon and Quarantines here. Obviously, you know, these two were battling in different, you know, people's battles, and yeah, these two were definitely good to watch. So I'm really curious to see how this battle goes. You can see there Simon just getting on the apex, braking a little bit so Quarantines can get backed up a little bit, and yeah, very good battles here tonight, and some really good drivers here too. I like the diversity with the cars as well, with the Ferrari and the Lamborghini, the two Italian cars, and we've actually got no Italians tonight, so it's quite interesting there. But little things in the race count for me. I love those little things, the little numbers. So Simon leading this little battle here, up the back straight now. And he's going to put his foot down, and that's what he's going to do this whole last couple of races, couple of laps now.
That's right, 1.5 left to go, and we are seeing maybe closer racing than ever before, both at the front and here in the middle of the field, as Quarantine has a similarly difficult time right behind Simon Demori. This is what it looks like to try to get into that P3. You have to go through the gatekeepers. And Ovando even further ahead after that. One final lap, and oh man, the inside, it's too tight. Look at the angle. The line from Quarantine, I thought that was for sure good enough. He closes to within 1/10 of a second, and now looks for it again. Whoa, that was a little bit close there. Quarantine almost hitting Simon off the track. I thought for sure that was going to touch, but he backed off just in the nick of time. But still, the onslaught continues around the inside, outside, back at it again. Quarantine, you got to know those lights are going to start flashing here pretty soon.
Yeah, I was going to say he's been on the flashes all night, and yeah, we might see it, but yeah, Simon doing really well there. I feel like he needs. We just saw another dive bomb there with the Frenchman just doing these massive dive bombs, and there's the flashing headlights. We just saw them. And I don't know what they actually kind of mean. I don't know if it's a move or a good move or I'm going to dive bomb you next corner. So yeah, he's on the flashy headlights, and yeah, we're seeing good battles, and Gale as well up the front, only two tenths behind, so he's doing really well there. So this is a battle for P1 in the bottom right corner, and I reckon we'll see those guys a lot more, and here they are right here on your screen now. So this is the battle for P1, and we've got this one, Belzidi. I reckon he's got this. He's been covering the corners very nicely, doing good moves, and one more lap to go, and we've got the battle for P4 as well. So these two battles are the biggest battles on track at the moment. And Gale just doing really well here. He's caught up 2 to 3 tenths, and look at the battle on the bottom right there. For a second, we just see them 2 wide into T1, and Quarantines gets it done and finishes it out there. And I reckon Simon might stay on his rear bumper for this last lap. Meanwhile, Belziti though, he's done really well here, just staying out front. And I reckon what we said about, you know, just focusing on the road and not really focusing in your mirror. You know, we talked about that like, a bit before. I reckon this is what you need at the moment, because you've got a big Apex Racing Lamborghini behind you. You definitely wouldn't want to look in your mirror for this last lap. And here's the nose and the forehead camera here. It's probably one of my favourite cameras at the moment. Belziti as well on the camera, and I think Reed loves his muscles, Belziti, with the muscle cam from before.
Well, it is different now for his opponent. Guile Valero knows how to get this done, but with the white flag out, yeah, I think that's going to be the flag of surrender for now. 2 tenths in half a lap. I mean, anything can happen. They've both got very, very good lines so far. You can just see how hard Fabrizio Belziti is trying to hang on. And I think you just might have done it, as you were alluding to earlier there, Connor. 2 tenths, but really, I mean, it felt like anything could happen earlier, but the door being shut here by Fabrizio. He's run a perfect race. No! Oh my God! How did he do it? I said it! I said anything could happen, and it really.
Oh, he's giving the position
can.
back. Boris coming
look
into
at
the American in the Beamer.
Yeah, and I think Ovando kind of knows what's about to happen here. What a sportsmanship there by Gael Valero.
Wow.
He unfortunately spins Fabrizio out and then gives him the position right back. Love to see it there. What a way to end our time here on the Nurburgring. And that's the end of the race. The end. We're going to wait until everybody crosses the line, and indeed they will. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. AMX 10 race number 2 is in the books. All the way through 20 minutes of qualifying, Heat 1, and finally Heat 2. We find ourselves with the following results. Fabrizio Belziti, the man on your screen right now. Gracious acceptor of that first place position, and absolutely well-deserved. He led by a mile for most of the race, and man, it did look close there at the very end. Gael Valero, a little bit of an oopsie there at the end, gives him the spot back, and Boris Ovando, man, that guy almost pedal to the metal on through into the lead, but a top 3 finish for the American driver in the 122 car puts him in that podium spot, with Corentin Guinez kind of surprisingly rounding out the top 4. Used to seeing this guy way farther up, but yeah, what a race. Proving too difficult there. Love to see the Nurburgring, obviously an iconic track. And even though we're not on the Nordschleife tonight, really loved the GP track here in these very iconic GT3s. Of course, that's why it's called the GT3 class of races this season. If you guys would like to race with these guys, you can buy a season ticket for the GT3 class on amxrace.com. Wow, for the final time tonight, what a race, Connor. What'd you think of that?
Oh, that was an awesome race, mate. We saw some absolutely, I would actually say some different racing for once. We had Gael up the front in the Apex car. We normally see him at the back coming to the front, but he was at the front this time. Then we had Quarantines always at the back at the start of the race and pushing his way through. But very aggressive driving from him tonight, and that was really good to see. Like, I love to see aggressive dive bombs, and it's different and it's nice. You know, it's good to see that SVG-esque kind of movement, if anyone follows me with that kind of quote. But yeah, doing really well there.
Great racing tonight, and now it's time to hear from some great racers. So we're going to go ahead and throw it on over to our first interview of the evening, coming in with Corentin Guinez to get a chance to hear a little bit more from him tonight. Cannot wait to hear what our racers have to say. All right, just want to go ahead and welcome Corentin Guinez to the stream for the first time this season. It's a brand new season of AMX Global League Season 4. How have you been, Corentin?
All good. It was quite a nice break to have some rest. So yeah, but pretty good to be back.
Okay, so you're back, and we had a pretty common combo, I guess. No surprise racing at the Nurburgring in GT3s. What did you think of the GT3 race tonight?
It was good fun. Actually, I had some bad experience last season with the Lambo, and it was a bit about to find out how was behaving the car. So yeah, it was pretty good fun with the Lambo, better than expected. So yeah, it was good fun during the race.
Yeah, I did want to ask a little bit because we saw a lot of Lamborghinis out on the track tonight. When it comes to obviously iconic to see cars like Ferrari out there usually, what did you figure out about the Lamborghini that gave you that insight?
I don't know. I'm not really experienced with the trees. To be honest, I saw that many people were using the Lambo, so I just guessed that it was the car to go. So I saw that some people are using it in the official, but yeah, compared to the others, I couldn't really tell you why it is the car to go at the moment. But the thing I can say is that it feels pretty good. Like, it feels a bit understeery with the setup, but otherwise it's really smooth. It's really smooth to drive with.
Okay, wanted to ask one final question before we move on. They're in the final heat, in heat number 2, the last race of the night. You had some pretty difficult situations trying to get around some of the drivers in front of you after that reverse grid. How do you handle a situation where you just can't get past somebody in front of you, like I think happened a couple of times with Fabio Zamperlini?
It's tough because like you can have like a lot of pace, but all of a sudden when you are behind someone who is defending quite okay, it's really tricky to make the move. Also because the car is a bit understeery, so it's not only about doing a send and then just hope that the car is going to hold the line. It's a bit more about trying to see what's the weakness of the guy at the front and try to go for it. To see that he's braking a bit earlier in one corner, you have to think about going into this one. But yeah, you have to stay calm, because then if you start to overdrive, you will just kill the tires. So yeah, the key is to try to stay calm and then try to figure out what's the best situation. Go for the move.
Well, thanks for the insight. Insightful as always, Quarantine. Great to hear your words tonight. Great luck in the other races, but also in AMX Global League Season 4. And we look forward to seeing you out here on the track a little bit more.
Thank you guys. See you next time.
All right, that's going to do it for our first interview with Quarantine Guinness. Always great to hear from him, and probably not the last time you'll see him in AMX. And that means that coming up next, we've got an interview with Fabio Zamperlini. Actually, can't wait to hear what he has to say, because this is the first time we're getting a chance to talk to him this season. Duck Hawk Racing has been busy in the weeks between seasons, and so it's my pleasure to welcome Fabio Zamperlini to AMX Global League Season 4. Fabio, how are you doing?
Fine, mate. Amazing to be here again. Funny races. Yesterday was so funny. Today again. It's hard to fight with Quarantine. Quarantine is a faster driver. He won the last season, so it was amazing to defend a little bit against him. But it's impossible to get in front of him. So funny.
Well, you had some great races today. Heat number 1 especially. You held that the top spot very, very well. It feels like you are continuing to get better and better. Do you feel like you're continuing to improve as a sim racer, Fabio?
Yes, all the time. But again, I need to press a lot. So today was a little bit tricky for me, because I only practice in the practice time for this session. So I'm so happy with my pace today. I'm improving all the time. I'm learning a lot. I'm trying to do the best all the time. But there's a gap to get in front of these guys here. And this season, I believe that is going to be the season that we are going to have the best drivers of the high racing in the world here racing together.
We have had a lot of incredible drivers last season, and hopefully this season too. So you're fast becoming one of them. So it's been great to see you have so many good racers. Do you have any final words for fans of Fabio Zamperlini or Duck Hawk Racing?
I would like to thank you guys and for watching here, for support me. I would like to thank my teammate Lucas Dornella and all the guys that we have racing here. Sorry for Jackson Rezende today with a disconnection, so he is so fast. So thank you guys. See you next weekend. I'm not able to be in the middle of the week here, but in the next weekend I'll be here. I will be here.
All right. Well, thanks for being here tonight. We'll miss you next week, but we look forward to seeing you back here in AMX Global League Season 4 soon. And that means that it's time to close things out here tonight. So for one final time, man, there was a lot of action tonight, Connor. What do you think of tonight's races?
Oh, yeah, it was a good race. Like it's interesting to go from a Porsche kart to a GT3 from last night. But yeah, AMX 10 always delivers. It's never bad. So yeah, no, good racing, and yeah, I'm enjoying for the next AMX 10 race. Should be good.
Yeah, it's been a long night of races, but hopefully everyone out there enjoyed, whether you're a racer or a viewer or anywhere in between. It's been great to have you for tonight's races, and in fact, just to be back for AMX Global League Season 4. It's good to have so much passion, so much action to share with you this season. We're not done with the season, though. We've got about 66 more races coming your way. So if you missed tonight's races and you want to race a little bit more, luckily enough, there's plenty of time for you. Coming up next, I think we have the NASCAR, Chevy Silverado on USA International Speedway to start off next week. There's a lot of action over the remainder of the week. So if you missed us, then don't worry. We've got more action coming your way soon as Season 4 continues. In the meantime, if you'd like to join Season 4, amxrace.com is the place. You can sign up for any of the races this season. They're all up there on the website. If you are quick enough, you can get in with an early bird discount of 30%, or if you want a little bit more. We are offering season passes for any one of the 6 racing classes in Season 4, so go check those out on amxrace.com and sign up if you feel so led. In the meantime, make sure to stay up to date with all the news from AMX Global League Season 4 on our social media, Instagram and Twitter, AMX Global out there. And if you'd like to join the conversation with us, we'd love to have you in the AMX Global Discord channel. We've got a little bit of everything in there. If you'd like to talk to any of the racers you saw tonight, that's the place to do it. So that's going to do it for us tonight. On behalf of everybody in front of the camera and behind it and wherever you are, if you raced or watched, thank you so much for joining us for another fabulous day of the AMX Global League Season 4. We'll see you again next time for even more.